Okay, before we get the video started, just to give you a little context, this information we're about to share with you is from the two top Spider-Men in the game. These are my alliance mates on X-Force. This is Newfin and 50 Gunner, regarded as a couple people you do not want to see in Omega War or Dimension Duel. They are absolute units. These guys have played hundreds, between them thousands of Omega Wars, Dimension Duels, you name it. They are typically both top 5 everything. Very, very good players. They have done all of the trial and error that needs to be done for Spider-Man, and they are constantly making tweaks and adjustments. Some context before the video gets started. We are going to be talking with 50 Gunner. It didn't make sense to talk with both of them separately, and 50 was available, so we got 50. He was at work and was kind enough to go through a deep dive on everything Spider-Man on behalf of Newfin and himself. And this screenshot right here is actually Newfin's build. And this is to just show you as well, you do not need regionals to make this work. So that's pretty important. As you can see, he's already dropped a couple red stars into a non-regional headpiece right there for his gear. And that just gives you a little bit of, 50s, you're gonna see 50s throughout the video. Here is another, this is a 50s stat block. You'll also see that through the video. This is Newfin's. These are things that he focused on. Some of the stats, you'll see what he built and what he didn't build right here. Here are his stat blocks. And this is also what Newfin wasn't in the video portion of this. 50 Gunner took that part over. And this is what Newfin is running for his spec tree. Last but not least, Nullific, better known as Null, streams. He is on YouTube. He's delving into some infographic stuff. This infographic he made has PvP, Spec Ops, Dual War, and what you should be focusing on if you're for non-regional, regional gear, or if you're a whale. So this is this infographic. This is just him giving me a glimpse of what he's working on. He's going to get me this when he's done, and it will be available in our Discord under MF Resources. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick the video off, and this is a deep dive into everything Spider-Man that you're ever going to want to know to kick all of the webs. I was going to try to make a Spider-Man joke, and it fell short. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get this video started and enjoy. Thanks. All right. We're here with 50 Gunner. He is one of my alliance mates, and X-Force. X-Force is easily the biggest alliance in the game currently, and 50 is one of the house Spider-Men. He and Newfin, top Spider-Men in the game currently. They have min-maxed these characters. Just for some context, I'm going to pull up 50's rankings this week. 14, 13, 4, 7, and 6. And I'd also like to point out the 7 is actually a 7 or 8 way, 9 way, I don't know. We have this thing where we tie each other. So technically he's number 1 there. Long and short, Spider-Man, in some people's opinion, is broken in PvP with the dodge, and 50 Gunner is one of those people that knows how to squeeze the most out of him. In fact, I'm going to say this too. A lot of the people in X-Force are 1 mil, 1.1 mil, 1.2 mil. 50 was somebody able to put up stats like this in the 900s. Are you 1 mil yet?
I can be.
Okay, so you're not even 1 mil yet doing putting up these numbers.
Yeah, it's all about the min-maxing at this point, right? It's the difference between having good stats versus bad stats.
Okay, and ahead of time, I'm going to apologize for the audio. 50 is improvising, and he's doing all this from his phone right now. So I'm just grateful that he had a minute to pop in, and we both really wanted to make this video to get this information out there because Spidey is blowing up right now. I'm guessing he and Doctor Strange, two of the most popular characters in the game right now, and for good reason. They're both amazing. So that being said, I'm going to give the floor to 50. He's going to walk you through his skills, his specializations, all the details. This is a deep dive into his Spider-Man and how he does what he does. So 50, take it away, my friend.
So as far as Spidey, just to kind of preface it, I know that a lot of people are thinking, I guess, how to lay into it. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and Spidey is very specific. He's very particular character. There's nobody like him. He's a dodge tank. That's the easiest way to think about him. You're not building somebody heavy. You're not building into a certain stat place. It's not an easy character to play, and you definitely need the best roles to be able to juice them, right? And that's like most characters, but there's some really tight intricacies about Spidey that people just don't quite understand. So we'll start off with the skills, as Tony said here. So in my skills, and we'll bring up the full tree that way you can kind of see where they're laid out. So as far as the skill set, this is the base of what I play. Oh no, sorry, that's Omega, just to crack it out of the park with people. There we go. So that's the base of what I play for the most part. Now, in your number 1 slot, kind of neat to know, you do have the web shooters as far as the web shooter mastery is concerned. Hits multi-targets, does fun damage, all that kind of good stuff. Now, the only real difference between that one and the single shot is actually that's web wrap. Sorry, they changed the icons. There we go. The focused web wrap can crit. The damages are fairly similar, but you are getting a crit advantage as far as the single shot. Now, the refresh, the cooldown is really where your benefit comes in. So there's a couple different ways of playing Spidey. You can go hard and try to take him out in one, or you can play the long game and just try to outlast him, basically, right? So if you go with the web shot versus web wrap, basically you're playing a cooldown reduction game. So as long as you're not getting stam locked, you can just outcast them. All your moves end up on a 10-second rotation, or you can just cast, chew up their active dodges, and then put it into them. Focused web wrap, on the other hand, you're looking for a one-shot kill, essentially.
Yeah, Newfin hits me. Is that the one Newfin hits me with that almost one-shots me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Noof goes with the focused wrap, and then that way, you get that big hit at the end, too. It's a really neat move. It just depends on where you're playing, right? Alliance War, PV, I generally go with the multi-shot, where if you're going to duels and depending on who you're going against, that focused web wrap can really step up, put in some crit damage, and make somebody go to sleep. The second move, that is something that's basically super high DPS, super quick cooldown again, awesome move all in one. Create some distance right away too, so depending on who you're playing, that's something that can be a real sneaky move. If you watch any of Tony's DPS layouts there in the damage lab, you'll see it's actually one of the top 2, I think it is, as far as damage and speed.
Yeah.
So excellent move there. The ball. Now this one is interchangeable. It's between the gyro and the bat. The bat, again, Newfin runs that a lot in the duels. There's just a difference between telegraphing and time again. Noof really aims for the one-shot kills, where I aim for just outlasting and making sure those web stacks are up and just nipping away the damage and doing as much as I can, as fast as I can that way. So both those are good moves. They both work exceptionally well.
So is this primarily a PvP build, or is this a catch-all build?
It really works across the board for everything. The bat works really good on big bosses. The gyroscope works really good farming.
Okay.
Just because, again, you're dealing with smaller mobs, so the more that you can cast, the better off you are, rather than just going for one big hit against a mob that you crush with a paper airplane anyways. Your fourth one, you'll be looking at that spider combat with the swing there, getting the more web shots again. So you're kind of seeing a bit of a theme here. All my stuff I'm pushing on the web. I don't do a pile of electric whatsoever. So getting a few more stacks on web, getting a little bit of an iframe there, depending on when you cast. Excellent move again, short DPS again, or short CDR again. So again, it is a move that you're going to be seeing a lot of benefit from. And then the fifth skill, you kind of have a bit of a rotation there. So a lot of times I'll run grenade, just kind of a sneaky move again. A lot of people don't see it coming, and it does have great DPS. Early game, a lot of people were running the bots with the web. They're annoying. It doesn't take a target for them to go after people, so it can definitely chase people around the arena, whether it's Alliance War or duels. Lower damage, keeping the stacks up, so it just kind of depends on what your goal is. And then you do have Bolo as well, so the stone. 4 moves there. Hard part there is you're telegraphing a lot, so it's really tough to land them. The first one out of the bunch, I think, is the quickest as far as cast time. So it just depends on kind of, again, your goal and what you're shooting for at the end of the day. So essentially the 4 moves to start are kind of your base. And then the 5th one you can kind of rotate and play with and find out what you like best. Just to give you an idea, my Alliance War build, yeah. So I do go with the bat, and then I do go with the electric spider wrap at the end. Just quicker cast time, little bit of an AoE, can usually catch 2-3 people kind of thing, does do damage. Just doesn't quite spec the way I like it to, so I tend not to use it a pile. But with the quicker cast time, that's the reason why I usually go with that in Alliance War.
So what's your record for Omega War kills using that build?
It's starting to scale down now that people are catching
up,
obviously.
yeah.
And that's the thing with this game, right? It's a pay to progress. It's not a pay to win. So now that people are building into the accuracy builds, you know, getting deeper as far as the gear they got and whatnot. You know, I used to be able to do a 70, I think 86, I think was my top score a couple weeks ago. Now we're down to 40s and 50s for the most part as a norm. Yeah. And then obviously that does go down as well, right? Mm-hmm. Depending on who you're matching and what time and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yes.
So PvP for Spidey, that's where your specs are really going to come into play. Even on PvE, but PvP is really where this guy shines.
Yeah.
So when you jump into specs, my 4 that are highlighted there, all 9s, and I can't quite get that green one to a 9, but it is what it is. We all know how that goes. So those are kind of the 4 meat and potatoes. If you really want to min-max, you can add in this yellow one as well, as far as upping your spider combat damage, but that's more so slated for PvE. Mm-hmm. And that you just swap out with the Scorpion's Pursuit, just as far as switching to PvE. But all modes, these 4 are great. So just to kind of lay it out, obviously, red is increasing the max cap of your dodge. It does not actually add dodge. I did see a few comments about that through Twitches and Discords and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. It doesn't up your actual dodge. It just raises your cap.
Okay, so which is still big. Still huge.
Oh, 100%. And that's the thing, right? Everybody's capped at 75%. You know, you go up against an Iron Man with 75% dodge, it does suck. Mm-hmm. We can actually go up to 90 as a Spidey.
That's crazy. Cap. So that's what makes Spidey the most annoying character to play in PvP when that's built properly.
And that's where everybody's actually wrong, Tony.
Oh, okay.
You know what? The dodge is great. Yes, it might save you, and that's just where we come into being a dodge tank. Yeah. It'll miss, you know, a couple of hits here and there. Everybody's starting to build accuracy now at our level, so it's negated for the most part. You know, where you used to be able to go up against people and they cannot hit you, period, to now they're getting every second, third, fourth hit in, but every second, third, fourth hit does a ton of damage to Spidey. Right. You know, I got people like Zaius and all the other Iron Men and Widows at our level that can 2-hit me, and it's all there is to it. I got no way about it. So now I'm going to kind of lead into whatever. We'll jump there right now. So the reason why I'm saying that, yes, the dodge is great, but it's not the winning attribute. This guy is. So the Spider Combat Scorpion's Pursuit is where Spidey shines. That's what keeps us alive. That's what keeps us dominant as far as a class in PvP. So what this is doing is recovering your dodge skill gauge, so your active dodge at the bottom right of your screen.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm getting 29% for sake of argument every time I use a spider combat skill.
That's huge.
So I'm refilling one active dodge every time I use a spider combat. So my spider combat is my tumble web, so my kick in the face and web you, and my web swing. So, and that's also why I got them alternating inside as far as my rotation. So I have a web, and then I have a combat, then a web, and then a combat. So every second move I do, I'm refilling one active dodge.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much the passive dodge that wins the matches, it's being high skilled in when to use the active dodges.
Oh, yep.
So, and that's why I play a really quick rotation as far as PvP, because the faster that I can spam those spider combat skills, the faster I can use my web skills to put damage into them and just reap the benefits of being able to use that active dodge every time an Iron Man shoots 16 rockets at you. You know, and that's the only reason why we stay alive at the end of the day. Without that, we would be toast. You know, everybody's starting to get to the point where they're 30 to 50% accuracy, and that's more than enough to take down I'm at 88.5% right now for dodge. And I can still lose easily. If I AFK in a Omega War or duel, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the unsung hero, I guess, of the build, and the one that people don't really understand. They think they can just build dodge and be invincible, and yes, it works for the first week or two, but after that, it's all that active dodge. You can definitely tell who plays Spidey well and who doesn't. For example, me and Newfin, we're pert near identical in stats now. We got very similar DPS, very similar crits. We got identical dodge rates. But he wins in duels to me probably 75% of the time, just because he's quicker on the finger, he knows it better, he follows it better, he has more skill. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
So those are our two dodge, obviously. And then to tie into the dodges, we got the Spider Combat Electro, which actually converts dodge into damage. Now, it does not show on your attack. So even though I got 18,000 or 8,000 attack or something like that, 18,000 attack, this move does not actually convert into attack rating, it's just damage. So there's no way to actually quantify it beside removing dodge and adding dodge. In saying that, trust me, we've done the testing, it does do a dramatic difference.
So this is a must-have as well, then.
It all depends on how you're playing, but yes, at the moment, from what we've seen with the kit we got and the people we're facing, these four essentially are what's going to carry you to the end game. Once you hit the end game is when you can start kind of messing around. And then this is my fourth. So this is kind of where the whole dodge tank idea gets amplified again. Mm-hmm. So out of this one, out of Green Goblin's Madness, I'm getting an extra 26% total damage, so across all modes, but I'm losing 17% defense. Mm-hmm. And that's where people like Zayas and yourself and a few other people can two-shot me quite easily. You know, if I don't hit that active dodge at the right time, or my leg but higher than I like it to be, and I miss the dodge, I'm smoked. Mm-hmm. Now, one that I'm starting to think about after fighting a few people in our line, specifically in duels and Omega War, and them having higher PvP down rates, I'm actually to the point where I'm starting to be able to cocoon people. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm having to guard break them and cocoon them. So there's a few ones that can play into that. I'm not too sure where to swap them into yet. But something like this guy, you can scale up to an extra 40% damage to cocoon targets.
Oof.
So, yeah, and that's just it. I've cocooned you, Tony, and it's one of those things, right? I got to, well, especially people like Thibodeau right now, with 80% PvP damage reduction, I have to cocoon him for 10 seconds and spray webs at him and jump on his face for him. Like, there's nothing that I can do as far as DPS more than what I'm doing.
Yeah, he's highly PvP focused. So, yeah, it takes some improvisation to get someone like that dead.
And that's just it, right? Like with Spidey, it's we've never really focused on the guard break aspect yet because it hasn't been needed.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we're seeing people building heavy into PvP down rather than just going straight damage, it's starting to be something that I'm seeing happen more often, and something that I'm going to try to figure out what the best way would be to slot them in exactly. But yeah, as far as specs right now, honestly, seeing, both me and Noof over 1 mil or around 1 mil, these are the 4 specs to gun for. They're the 4 that have carried us right to the top, let us dive into our Spider-Man more and more, and really have proven their worth. I've played with a few other of the specs off and on a little bit. I haven't put a pile into them. But yeah, as far as the end game and where we're sitting at the moment, those 4 are the 4 to really dive into first, let you feel out your Spider-Man and figure out where you want to end up.
Okay. And what about gear? Do you have some suggestions for what free to play, cheap to play, people that whale? I know when you were in chat last night on my stream, you were getting bombarded with questions about gear. So that's something that we probably want to touch on today. I'm sure it seems like a popular question. What should aspiring Spideys focus on as far as gear goes?
So, and you know what, I can't speak for all characters, but being that we've played just over 60 days now or so, us in Omega Flight and especially X-Force, yes, regional is nice. Yes, special is nice. It's not a must. Newfin, for example, the top Spider-Man in the game with myself, still runs non-regional. He runs Scarlet Spider.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, he bought into the bat really early. He loved it right from day one, the Spider Bat there. He was seeing big one hits. He loved it, loved it, loved it. So he jumped into the Scarlet set. And you know what? I'll try to pull him up here in a bit if he's on character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Scarlet goes into the gyro and the bat as far as your +6. So it gives him a big leg up there. The other set that I recommend is Noir. It goes into your first move there, into your web wrap, or into your shooter mastery. But yeah, as far as free to play, don't be scared to try stuff. Especially now with Red Stars, I can see people, having 2-3 sets, or have a free to play set that you build on for a while until you land a Sakaar set or a Xander set.
Mm-hmm.
Both Sakaar and Xander, not bad sets. I prefer Sakaar myself for the same reason as Newfin jumped into the bat. Sakaar adds the +6 to the web shooter class. So that's both the bat that or gyro that Newfin likes, as well as the web shooter mastery that I like. So that's why I went Sakaar heavy. I'm a big fan of it, but in saying that, I'm not going to be able to get the reds over time that somebody like Newfin will having his free to play set. As far as skills, obviously build some accuracy. You will be facing other Spider-Men, especially with how prevalent he is now. So make sure that there's some accuracy on there. Make sure that you're getting the attacks. Make sure that you're getting the crits. But yeah, don't be scared to try stuff, and don't worry. If you're not getting a regional, don't work on a regional. You can get, like I said, Noir or Scarlet quite easily, and you can build those up to 6, and you can get your 6 reds on them. And 1/6 red should put you at the same place as a regional set.
So, question: Spider-Man right now in the game is known as one of the most OP PvP characters that there is. Who is it that you're on your toes when you face in PvP, be it Dimensional Duel or Omega War?
At this point, mostly Iron Man, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes, fighting Newfin sucks. I'm still trying to find a consistent way of beating him, which I just haven't been able to land yet. But like I said, a lot of that comes down to skill. Iron Men are scary, especially the ones that are facing us, because they know us and they fought us enough that they know our holes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest thing, right? It's not so much that people are scared of certain characters. It's more so that I'm scared of people that I play repeatedly and know not only my style, but my moves and understand when they can attack and can't attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all very important. There's a relevant amount of RNG too that comes into those game modes where when you're getting stat checked, sometimes you get and sometimes you get got, and it's just there's times someone like a Spider-Man can come out and everything lands on me and it hurts, and then there's other times I'm almost dodge capped myself as Iron Man, and there's sometimes I have good rolls and they miss me, and then it goes the other way where I hit them with everything, and it's pretty wild sometimes. So don't be frustrated if you ever get your butt kicked in one of those modes, because like I said, it can go the other way just as easily sometimes. So anything else you'd like to add for aspiring Spideys?
With Spidey, honestly, practice. Like he's not the character that you can hit two buttons and win. He's not the character that you're gonna fly around the top arena of the dimensional duel or Omega arena and win. He's not. You have to play him. You have to figure out. Auto is great for farming, but when you start getting into him, you have to play him. And not only that, you have to play the other characters in the game too, so that again you understand them.
Well, yeah, just to double down on what you said, depending on who you're playing, I've played with and against you in Omega War plenty of times, and I know when I'm on the battlefield, you take to the air, whereas when we're on the same team and you don't have to deal with people like me up in the air, you're on the ground creating headaches for people. So it is there is a lot of adapting and knowing who you're facing and what play style you need to lean into because of that. So.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, Spidey's a fantastic character to play. He's tons of fun. You know, you build him right, you'll thrive and have a blast with him. My problem right now, honestly, in this game is badges. I'm getting kind of shafted on the badge department. I'm running 2 yellows and 2 90s. But you know what? You adapt and overcome. I've had to throw out some more blue cores as far as raising my dodge cap and stuff like that. But yeah, like as far as stats and whatnot, what's kind of working for me around that 140 accuracy is working great. I am capped at the moment at 88.5. I do have 90 stored for when I do roll that red, that last spec. My crit rate's okay. It's not great. It's something that I am trying to work on, but until I get the right badges and can soften some stuff up, I'm kind of stuck there. Total damage has been a big thing for me. Cooldown around that 20 has worked perfect as far as not being stam locked. But yeah, it's a great character to play. It's a ton of fun. It's finding what works best for you and not necessarily focusing on certain sets. It's not, oh, I need a Sakaar set, or oh, I need a full Maestro badge set, or, you know, I was even kicking around the other day with the guys while we were all spending the 3,000 Omega points in the shop to get the Omega badges. And then it kind of dawned on me a couple days ago, why am I going for the Omega badges when I'm already capped at 75%? This makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's balancing. It's playing the game. It's finding what works, what doesn't. Don't be afraid to try stuff.
Well, 50, man, you're a guy I've become really good friends with in this Marvel Future Rev journey, and you are the original build that I shared with the universe, and you and I have been really excited to share this deep dive into everything that you're using to answer a lot of these questions that you got bombarded with yesterday. And I think the community will really be able to tweak their Spider-Man. And at the end of the day, there'll probably be people with how big this game is going to get that will even help us become better at playing our main characters, your Spider-Man, my Iron Man. And I feel like them getting there quicker with this information is incredibly beneficial. Yeah, there's a look at his Omega cards too. So if you're curious what he's running.
So just to jump into that quick, again, don't mind the special cards. It is what it is. We all understand that. Again, it's just me min-maxing dodge. I run a 2-piece number 8 just for that extra 3%. Mm-hmm. It's not a necessity, but if you are dodge starving, you can definitely move some stuff around. 3-piece at 6 gives you 5%. So not the worst idea in the world, depending on what you're trying to achieve. Just keep grinding, keep going. This is a free-to-play game. It's just pay to get there quicker, that's all. And just never forget that everybody will be capped at one point or another.
Yep.
You can only get so big.
Yeah, I think people lose sight of that sometimes because of the head start some of the whales get. But yeah, like you were saying too, Omega War's gotten much more competitive of late. So there's times where I've gotten kills in the teens because of who we've faced or on the other end. So 50 is usually in my Discord quite often. If you have any more questions, you can hit him up there, or I can ask them on your behalf. And he often hangs out in our Twitch. So 50, man, super thankful for you taking the time to make this video. And man, I love you, dude. You're a good guy, and I appreciate all your help. And I'm still running your Spidey spec because it works.
Yep. No, man,
All right,
I'm glad you can have me, and like I've kind of been alluding to, you know, X-Force is putting out some great information. Tony's doing freaking amazing. We got other guys putting up some infographics here soon to kind of help people go down the rabbit hole in the right direction. Just stay tuned with Tony, and we'll make sure everything gets pushed to him so he can get it to everybody else.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, man.
Yeah, dude. Have a great day today, and we'll see you on the flip side.
See you, buddy.
Later, man.